Hi, I'm Josh, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Yesterday, we launched... No, we didn't. Yesterday, we built the starship that we're going to launch now. The Velen Mark I. The ship that's going to go to Minmus and the Moon and get us a whole lot of science. And then, hopefully, if there's enough time left, we're going to refuel it. I've decided to limit our episodes to 30 minutes. That'll help with processing, and it will also make this stuff easier to watch and consume in small bits. Of course, there's always the pause button, but that makes it so hard to find everything again. Right. Velen Mark I. It's going to have Jebediah Kerman in the Mark I lander cam, and Bill and Bob Kerman in the mobile processing lab. Then again, I'm actually going to give Jeff Rod Kerman a chance. Jeb has had enough firsts. I think the first Kerbal to land on Minmus and on the Moon is going to be somebody else. This also leaves Jeb alive in case things go catastrophically wrong. But that's not my motivation at all, honest. Right. I did forget to seek out new contracts, but I think there haven't been any new contracts. Nevertheless, it never hurts to just carry on with the mission. Let's just carry on with the mission. What I am going to do, however, is, let's just see here, the log seismic data. Oh yeah, I already did that now. But it's an extra bit of science, so I'm going to do that. Hope. Material study from Launchpad. May as well, right? Mystery goo from Launchpad. Okay, all this stuff I'm actually going to use to demonstrate how the science lab works. Now, we have very little monopropellant because we've emptied out our tanks. Our liquid fuel is also lower than it could have been because we have emptied out, I think, this tank. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna transfuel the fuel out of this tank and into this tank to give this whatever you call it, the poodle liquid engine, some fuel. And we are launching now. Oh baby, that's fast. I love it. The asparagus staging works the same as before, and we are on a very, very efficient arc upward. Jeffred is not quite as sure of himself and of this vessel as Jeb would have been, but so be it. Detach these first two. Yeah. The orientation is exactly as I think it is, so that's good. I don't want to find out north is south and south is north, or hell, north is west. Halfway through my gravity turn, that would be pretty bad. But yeah, speaking of gravity turns, I'm going to wait until this second set of engines burns out, and then I'm going to do a gravity turn. The best part is that the fuel use actually decreases with every detachment. The first stage is just enough to get us going at a decent speed, and it burns through fuel extremely quickly. The second stage, well, it'll lift us into the upper atmosphere, and the third stage, well, it can get us going all the way up into space. And I'm hoping that this part will get us into orbit. We'll see. If not, there's some spare fuel on the Poodle lander. Am I going too horizontal with this? No, I am not. I should be going more horizontal with this. And once we hit about 70, I should stop. Actually, I'm going to wait until we're at about 80 with this. We are still working against some air resistance, but we might as well stretch things out a little bit more. Let's see what our burn time is supposed to be here and now. And I do remember that we are going to have to detach those two other engines very soon. So let's see. This will do. This will do just fine. Might actually make a bit of a correction here to make it a little bit more circular. 82, 79. Yeah, perfect. So how much time left? It's 21 seconds in, well, I'm gonna burn in 21 seconds. That means I'm gonna have 21 seconds till it hits 0. And from that point onward, everything else is gravy. I'll have like 21 seconds on the other side of the burn to compensate. Oh, it looks like the highest point is shifted. So I might be better off just burning it by eye, right? Yeah. I might be better off just burning it on the on the horizon. And fire. A little bit longer. These two are going to run out. Detach and fire. Hell, with a bit of luck, I might be able to fuel the top stage with the fuel that's left in the big can. We'll see how it goes. In the big stage, we'll see how it goes. Works for me. Right, first things first. Engage solar panels. All of them. Good. We have 2 solar panels on the sides of the lander, but no point in relying on those too much. I'm actually not sure. Okay. We are dreadfully low on RCS fuel. Woefully low on RCS fuel. The only modern propellant we really have is in this thing, but that should last us 1 trip, certainly. And if we're going to Minmus, it's easy enough. So yeah, let's target Minmus. And instead of using this big-ass thing, we are first going to put some of our fuel in here. The thought behind that is, well, it's best to use the more efficient staging most of the way, and while the mainsail has many advantages, it is not the most efficient engine out there. The most efficient engine out there is a nuclear engine, but the Poodle comes close enough. Yeah, I gotta fill this thing up as well. Fuel pumping goes according to what the smallest tank can handle. It can't just gush in there within a matter of seconds. Well, seconds, but not like within a matter of 1 second. That'd be too much silliness. My decision to empty out the RCS fuel tanks now of all times might be biting me in the ass, because it could be that I run out of normal fuel only after I run out of RCS. But that's an issue for another day, and if that means I'm going to have to put some extra RCS on my first refueling run, then that's just how it's going to be. Because I am going to use the right words for this. I am going to organize some refueling runs should it become necessary. Now, I'm still going to try and do an assist through by the moon, even if it's not strictly necessary. This decision to wait for a large reaction wheel will pay off, because this is I still have that mainsail attached with all that extra fuel, so I might actually need that extra what do you call it? That extra torque to keep things under control. But we'll see how. I always say that. Keep things under control. And then we'll see how it goes, but yeah, we'll see how it goes, because I think it'll go just fine. Huh? Oh, this is Minmus. Yeah, that's the orbit for Minmus. Now, if I want to rendezvous with the moon first, and that's probably going to need some different ideas. Let's see here. Okay, see? We're close. And this is where we basically need to burn right now. I can do that. And then we go over to a larger orbit easily enough. Yeah, sure. Go. We can always adjust that orbit later. Yeah, and once we're on our way away from Kerbal, I can collect and reset the science. And I'm actually going to use Bill or Bob for that, because I want to have as much science as possible stored in the science container, and as little science as possible stored in the lander, because if something goes wrong and the lander gets wiped out, then at least we have our Velen itself to... Now, what's the orbit here? 200k. Is that the actual periapse, or am I gonna tickle the dragon still some more? Let's just plan things out from here. What if I added more velocity? It would send me careening off into far space, so I might as well wait until we're over there at the lunar periapse to make some more adjustments. And hell, once we're here, that'll get us up a large extent of the way toward getting actually to Minmus again. So, speaking of, you need to, as I said before, the science lab is not a control capsule, so you need to right-click the crew hatch, I think left-click the crew hatch, yes. Left-click the crew hatch and then select the crewman for EVA duty. Also be careful not to bump into the solar panels, at least the extended solar panels, because those have a tendency of breaking off upon contact with a Kerbal. Take data. And I hear you say, Josh? These mystery goo containment units, they're one use only, aren't they? Well, normally yes, but you can clean them using the science lab, which means they're not one use anymore. Now, I could have brought like 6 of these to the moon, to Minmus, and like 12 or 18 or something like that, lots, over a dozen, to the moon, but I'm not going to do that. For Minmus, it might have been more efficient to use several landers, but for the moon, I'm just going to use, for the moon and Minmus combined, let's see, seismic scan, mystery goo, material study, that's all we really need. Yep. And there's a crew report. No crew reports. Okay. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to clean experiments. Now what this does is it resets the Science Junior and the Mystery Goo container. So that's exactly what we need and exactly what we want. It of course takes a few seconds for the Science Junior to be cleaned out, but that's not a problem at all, because we'll get to use it again. There's no real point in using any of this stuff near the moon, because we've already been there, and we will be going there again. If we really wanted to, we could stick around the moon and just land there over and over again. But seeing as I wanted to do the easy in a manner of speaking, and from a certain perspective, moon first, we're going to go to Minmus first. And I think I might need to go on a break in just a second, but this time it does merit the right turn of phrase. We will see how things go. Variety of spice of life. Okay, set Minmus as target. Not the satellite I have orbiting around Minmus, but Minmus itself. The ascending node and descending node are surprisingly... Oh, look at that. We already have almost what is almost an encounter with Minmus. And all we still need to do is adjust it a little bit, I think. Nope, that's the wrong way. If I increase speed, I don't do anything useful. If I decrease the... No, none of this does anything useful. So I think we need to be over here to start making changes. What is that? Also, yeah, I think it's time for me to go on a little bit of a break, so I will be right back. And back. We seem to have an almost encounter with Minmus, which is good. And I thought that the liftoff stage has exceeded all my expectations, which is why we still have this Rockomax, the final stage of it, is still attached to our ship. despite the fact that all the useful fuel has been moved to our lander and orbiter stage. So basically, I'm gonna name this thing. I'm gonna name this 6 Rockamax jumbo fuel tank with another one in the middle, asparagus staged, setup, the Elec launcher array, which sounds really cool. And it's not technically an array, but it's arrayed, so I call it an array, because everything that is an array is even cooler or lamer. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, we are on approach now, and we seem to be headed for another encounter with the moon. That must be avoided at all costs, certainly. But what I'm actually looking at is that our inclination is surprisingly close to the natural inclination of Minmus, which is really good. There's also this unknown object, and I don't know where it's going, but it's probably not going to hit Kerbal. I'm not sure if these things can even hit Kerbal. They might be able to, they probably won't be able to, because that is a bit much. Ooh! You see where this is going? Ooh, we have an encounter. And like a really tame encounter as well. We only need to do a 10-second burn. Oh, I like that. This is going to be really easy to encounter. Awesome. And then we can trim it when we're over there or something like that. Yeah, okay. So, yeah. The only downside is that this is going to take a while. So, okay, our node is in 11 days. So, do we have anything to do other than twiddle our thumbs? Nope. Do we have any science we can do in the meantime? Well, maybe. But do we need to? Our budget's a bit low. We can see if we don't have any contracts while we wait, right? Return to Space Center. Science data from space around Minmus. 12-year duration. Sure. Science data from space around the moon. 10-year duration. Okay. When we go from Minmus to the moon, I should keep an eye on the timers of these contracts, because I might need to take them back, because we might be out there for that long. I don't know. We probably won't be, but we might be. We might be. Test the ion electric propulsion system orbiting Kerbal. Nope. Nope. Turbojet engine landed at Kerbal. Landed at Kerbal. This is going to be one of those jalopy tests, which are really easy to do. So yeah, accept the jalopy. We're going to build ourselves a jalopy. Yeah. How was that last time? Oh, I still have the jalopy 1 from. I have the jalopy Mark 2 from last time. Oh, that's the jalopy Mark 1. Nope. I don't want to attach all of that stuff to this. So, yeah, let's add the jalopy Mark 3, which has the turbojet engine, which is a different jet engine from the other one. Click, and click. This thing has a minimum height. What if we can accommodate that? There we go, my dear guy. No, I want you to attach to the rear. Beautiful. This is going to be the jalopy Mark 3. Save. Launch. It's cheap enough to do, and you get... I think you get like almost 100% of the costs back. And you get a reward as well as a science reward, so why not? When I give it a go. Run test. Yay, contract complete. And let's get this thing back. Let's recover this, quote, vessel. Okay, that's been fun. That's been fun. We have some more money now, and we've got some contracts to do science near Minmus and the moon, so let's return to the Velen Mark 1. Look at the relevant contract, science data from space around Kerbal, science data from space around Minmus. I forgot to do that one, but we'll see. Science data from space around the moon, plant flag on the moon, explore other planets is not something I really care about yet. Explore Minmus is going to be... That's going to be automatically done as well. And the Mark 16 parachute, that maligned test. I might knock it out of the park sometime soon. I might not. We'll see. But this encounter, yeah, see, it needs to be tweaked a little bit to allow for the right type of encounter. We're going to be burning in 8 days. I think it was a 9-second burn last we looked, so supposedly I think it's still a 9-second burn. Now we could have like flattened our trajectory and made it the first time round, but how do you say? Hindsight is 20/20. I'm not going to reload that. That might have also taken me a bit more fuel. It would have taken me a lot less time though, which means our Kerbals may not have had to have become graybeards in order to finish their mission. Seriously, this mission is probably going to take a while, and I'm definitely going to do most of it off camera because... Wait a minute now. Because I don't want to overshoot this thing, by the way. Yeah, there we are. I overshot it a little bit, but nothing appreciable. Oh, too much. Or was it? No, that was the moon, I think. Oh no, that was too much. Oh well. Let's reverse back into it. But as I was saying, this is probably going to take a while because I want to sample every single biome, which I'm probably going to do most of it off camera. And then when we unlock our final bits of science equipment, one of them is the gravioli detector, I'm going to send some more probes to both worlds and sample some science from there. That is, if we still need science. We will probably still need science. But I will be doing some of that off camera because there's a lot of biomes that I only really need to show you 1 or 2 if something extraordinary happens. Now I'm gonna... No, I want to stop... how hard is it for you to see what I'm selecting? I'm selecting this. Let's slow this down. That's very wobbly, but it's still a Minmus encounter, and as you may or may not know, Minmus is very small, so it gets a bit wobbly because it has a very small sphere of influence. As in, there's a very small area where you can get caught by Minmus, so the probability of getting caught by Minmus gets very wobbly. Even if you move your spaceship a little bit, that already alters the, as you can see, that already starts altering how it's perceived. Now I'm gonna put it into the slow the hell down configuration, and we're still not going to be out of fuel, which is incredible. I'm hoping I'm still going to be in the slow the hell down configuration. I am. But I am not in a horizontal configuration, and that needs to be remedied because I do want to be going across the equator of Minmus, because that makes it a whole lot easier to rendezvous. At least that's how I learned to rendezvous with other spaceships, so that makes it a whole lot easier, and that's how I'm probably going to do it. Once we are in a somewhat stable orbit, I'm going to change the inclination to be a little bit more horizontal, at least horizontal according to the equator of the nav ball, which I'm using now. I think the correct answer for this one is oops. I shouldn't have burned this early. But you live, you learn, I think, is the turn of phrase this time. We wait until we're at periaps, and then we burn. Turn around a little bit. Like I said, it's very useful to have this big flywheel to move around this big, heavy, and the most of the weight is on the outside as well. It's like a seesaw. This big, heavy fuel tank. Empty fuel tanks are surprisingly light. Full fuel tanks are really, really heavy. Okay, let's try that again. Only, let's just wait a little bit more until we're actually at periaps. Okay. Yoink. I want to change our inclination to be more horizontal, which means I'm going to need to find the midpoint, midpoint. It's difficult because, of course, the Minmus itself is also going askew, so you basically need to do it by eye. So I think we're close enough to the midpoint here that we should be making some changes. If I burn downward, that will fix a few things, I think. Let's try. I'm happy with that. Yeah, and the further out you do it, the easier it is. This is not even a 1 second burn, it's like one puff for me. This is obviously not enough to put things in right perspective, but it's a start. It's a start. It's more of a, well, I'm here sort of thing. Awesome. Next up is essentially here, and then I'd be cool with that for now. And that's going to be in another day. And when we're there, I'm going to slow us down as well. No, actually, the periapse is really close, so I might slow us down a bit more already. Either I can slow us down now, or I can work on... No, what I want to do is make... Look, the lowest point is 970. Let's see if I can't make the highest point like 500 km lower, so we have at least a circular orbit to work with. That sounds like a good idea, and then we can start working on making our orbit on the equator and making our orbit a bit more circular. $1,950,000. That's circular enough for now. Yeah, and I think the next time we hit periapse is going to be a good time to... that's not the periapse. Oh, well. Let's say we burn here, and we're very much closer to the equator, and then we're going to, you know, go down closer to the world. I think a 40-kilometer orbit should be close enough to allow for very easy, I don't know, a little bit of a higher orbit also has its benefits. Yeah, I think we're going to go for a higher orbit, like 100K, because we don't need to directly get science from nearby Minmus. So I think we're going to go for a 100K orbit around Minmus, so that our lander can have all the maneuvering capabilities it wants. That sounds fun enough. Lower orbit means you have to travel less far, but it also means the, yeah, I don't know. Lower orbit means you have to travel less far, but it also means the spacecraft rotates faster around the planet, so you have less of a window to get back. Ooh, I just burned this slightly too much. Slightly too much? It's looking good for me. So, yeah. Time for something else now. A slowdown. A big slowdown. We orient ourselves backward, and we burn. And that's forward. Other way around. Come on. Keep going. Keep going. I shouldn't twist this spaceship apart just by doing this. I don't think so. This lander has 15 units of RCS fuel, which should be enough to do one landing, and then we just go for a refueling run. This is 200K, 120K, 100K. That's fine by me. And we can just detach this thing either now or really soon, because it's getting in the way of our... I don't want to detach it, actually. I want to stabilize our orbit just a bit more. Yeah, and I want to slow us down the rest of the way. Yeah, that's perfect. 102K either way. And seeing as we have this huge engine, we can do it like in 1 second. Excellent. We're almost there. And then we can end the episode. because this has clocked in at quite a bit of an episode, even though we haven't done too much. But yeah, I suppose we have gone all the way past the moon to Minmus, and we tested a rocket on the way. We tested a well, not a rocket, a jet engine. By the way, jet engines, they are very efficient with their fuel use. They use only liquid fuel and not oxidizer, but you need oxygen intakes to use them. They are great for planes and space planes. There's also the Rapier engine, which can switch from a jet engine, which uses liquid fuel and oxygen, to a space engine, which uses liquid fuel and oxidizer. Neither are very efficient, but they are able to get your spaceplane into orbit without having two different sets of engines, which is good enough. And there you can hook up to something you launched by a rocket, which uses a nuclear engine to make interplanetary travel really easy. I generally tend to put a... that's too much of a rotational change, actually. How about we just slow down first? Whoa, that's too much slowdown. Way too much slowdown. Let's turn it around, and then speed it up a bit more. Jump down, turn around. Oh god. I'm sorry. I didn't know this thing could do that. It was so powerful. Yes, I did. I just didn't think. Now, very slowly, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 101, 104. Good enough. I can circularize it a bit more when I want to, but right now I just want to right my orbit just a little bit. Yeah, and then we go there and we turn 104 into just 101, and then we're golden. Whoa, 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 not that way, come on. One more. The downside to Minmus being small and requiring small amounts of liquid fuel, I'm talking about space planes too much, is that it is really finicky sometimes. And that can be the death of you in the very few objects in the solar system which are smaller than Minmus, but on Minmus it's just right. Just enough rope to hang yourself with and then clamber out of the pit you dug for yourself. Mixing metaphors, baby. Like a boss. Yeah, that's the way I want to go in just a second. Never mind, I'm just going to wait until I'm there and then go on the reverse trajectory. Stay there. And he's going to drift off again. And we're going to go back up there because we just want to go in reverse. And we might want to overcompensate a little bit to get by going over. Yeah, this is horizontal enough, I'd say. Yeah. This is mostly on the equator. Our little satellite, science satellite, isn't really on the equator, but it'll do. It'll do. Guess who overcompensated again? Ooh, idea. Why do the difficult thing when you could do the easy thing? I'm gonna stabilize, and then I'm gonna activate this engine, and deactivate that engine. No need to even turn around. Because this is a smaller engine with more control, and it's facing the other way. Brilliant. Great way to end the episode. He says wanting to end the episode, but things keep getting in the way. Seem to keep getting in the way at least. 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Perfect. The fact that it's wobbling around that much means that's actually good. I mean, it's not good for your frame rate. It looks weird, but it means the computer can't decide where they really are, which means they're in both places at once. Yay! Shut down engine. And I'm actually not going to activate that engine because we are exactly where we want to be. Well, we're on the dark side of the planet, but there is the moon there, and Kerbal backlit. It's beautiful. So we're just going to wait until we're on the light side again. Wow. Okay, that's an image. And here we are. Sideways, but we'll fix that later. And then when we detach these, the lander can go and, well, land. So, be seeing ya. See you next time.